Hi, Scott and Kathy here, and welcome to the new year. Hope you had a great Christmas and a great New Year and got through the holiday season. And welcome to a brand new year. And hopefully, the 2021 is even better or better than 2020. So we wanted to chat a little bit more just about preparation, sharing, being prepared for some of the inevitable things. So to share, back in December, my brother passed away unexpectedly, and as you know, challenging as that was, we kind of started reflecting and thinking about some of the other things that impacts, and some of the things that impact specifically from a couple's perspective, and how one or the other, the person who's still around, is impacted by the loss of somebody. And so Kathy and I started reflecting on that and thinking, okay, there's a lot of responsibilities that we share. And within this house specifically, there's responsibilities from whether it's yard work or doing the laundry, if it's doing food preparation, general house chores, things of that nature. We all share our responsibilities, and some we do specifically. So specifically, I have the responsibility of managing our finances, and that's just the way it's been since we've been married. One of the things that we've realized, especially in recent years, is that Kathy really needs to be aware of what that means. So it's not just how much money do I have to spend. It's what do we have in our accounts? Where is that money going? How do we pay? How often do we pay? How do we get the bills? How much is still due? All those things that needs to be shared. And right now I just do it. But giving the ability so Kathy knows how to handle it, we meet at least once a year. We're trying to do it a little bit more often, but we meet once a year at least, and we go through it all and show this is what each account is, this is what each bill is, this is how often we get it, this is when it's paid, all these things, so that in a situation where I'm unable to handle it, whether it's I'm gone or there is some kind of other crisis situation, then she can still function, because the house needs to function whether I'm here or not.
Right.
And that's a key part in making sure that the house continues to function, by sharing that information with you.
Right, and it could be, like you said, not only if you were to suddenly pass away, but if for some reason you're incapacitated for whatever reason, and then I just need to take over. So, I've had a couple situations where I've had friends who have lost their spouse, and then they are left scrambling trying to find passwords, login information, trying to go through paperwork and all of that. And it's already a difficult situation trying to deal with the loss of your loved one and how you're going to continue your life without that person. But then it's an added stress just trying to figure out how things were done previously and how you can just continue that so that you're not missing any payments on bills or things like that. So the fact that we were able to do that, and I have all that information so that I can review it at my leisure and take a look. I can see what's in all the accounts. I can see how the bills are paid. I know how to log in and what sites to go to. Is such a tremendous benefit.
And that's a key component there. It needs to be that seamless piece, right? Because the things don't stop. The bills are not going to stop coming in because something changed in your household. They're going to say, well, sorry, but you still owe.
Yeah.
So those things need to continue. And that's just a small piece of it, right? So we talked about that piece and we started going into the finances, but then we started thinking about the whole house in general as well, right? So this house doesn't just function and run on its own. There is electrical and there's water and there's gas, and all that is supplied to the house. But in the event that there's an emergency, that something happens, there's a circuit breaker that goes out, or there's a pipe that bursts, or there's a gas leak somewhere. You need to be able to, anyone in this house, I say Kathy in this case because I know where all that's at, but in this house, anybody needs to be able to go and shut it off. Because it doesn't even need to be a medical emergency, right? I may be out of town or at work, and all of a sudden there's a pipe burst. Okay, someone needs to shut the water off and not have to call a plumber and pay for them to shut the water off because I didn't show her how to turn the water off.
Yeah. No, you're
So
absolutely right.
and those are all key things that we need to focus on, and just keeping the house moving and functioning, and that's a big piece. And so we've shared that in the house. Everyone here in the house knows how to handle those things in that situation. But then the next step from that we also talked about is, well, what about our wishes, our needs, what we want for ourselves in the event that either we become in a situation where we're hospitalized and maybe it's an end of life that we have to make a decision, or that one of us is suddenly gone. What are our wishes? Whether it's being cremated, whether it's being on life support, whether it's, having the do not resuscitate life. All these medical type decisions that have to be made by somebody.
Yeah.
And if I use me as an example, if I don't, clarify that to you, you have to make that call. And you may or may not know if that's what I wanted, but you have to make the call based off of what you think.
Yes.
Because I haven't shared it.
Right. Yeah, like having medical power of attorney paperwork and all of that is really important. But just having the conversation is really important too. So we both have had the discussion on what we would like, what our wishes are, and things like that. But we also share that with our kids, and our children are adults, so we also let them know in the event something happens to both of us at the same time, or if there's a situation where you don't want life support and I have to make that decision, and they are like, what are you doing, Mom? And we could say as a family, this is what we want and it's okay. So having those discussions with the appropriate people ahead of time is really important, and we stress ahead of time being proactive, because you certainly don't want to have these conversations when there is a terminal illness and now you're scrambling to find information when it's already such a horrible, sad situation to begin with. It's easier to talk as a family because we are not anticipating our death anytime soon. So we can have these discussions openly because there is not that fear and emotion attached to it right now. So it can be a more productive conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And that goes into, if you've seen our videos or any other videos before, that's kind of a theme that we have, is the key thing with the relationship, the marriage, the partnership, whatever situation we're in, is communication.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? So we've talked about before having, a healthy conflict. Well, the only way we can talk through, or I know how she wants to handle something when Kathy's pissed off, is by talking to her when she's not pissed off. Because
Right.
if I talk to her when she's pissed off, then we're not getting anywhere, because then I'm going to get pissed off and it gets ugly then. So the same thing in this situation, right? Just like you said, you don't want to be in a position where all of a sudden somebody's either on the verge of their last moments in life, or have already gone, and you don't know what to do. Because the conversation either never made room for it, you never thought it was critical, you thought, we've got 20 years down the road, we're good to go. Whatever the reason, have the conversation, because that's even more so. We got 20 years down the road, so let's talk about it now so I don't have to think about it for 20 years. Hopefully that's the case, but you don't know.
Right.
And it's the conversation and it's the information, right? Because we've talked before, is there's paperwork. Where is the life insurance policy?
Yes.
Where is the car insurance policy? Where is any of that we have? Where's the 401k information? Where is the information so that life continues for those that are still around?
Yes. And we are so glad that we've taken the time to do that. And again, we not only share that with each other, but our adult children, this is where the paperwork is, this is all the things that you need to know. And now we just have that peace of mind to know that we've at least covered those basics, so that if an unexpected thing happens, there is a foundation of how we can get things taken care of. And so it's so important for any family to just have those discussions so that you are prepared. I know it's the planning that people don't want to have, but it's planning that eventually will need to happen. So the sooner you can do it, the better.
Yeah, and so to wrap that all up, the one other thing that we'll throw in there is have that will, right? Have that power, medical power of attorney, have your wishes defined, have a will. Get it legally done, but even if you're in the case that you just write something up today and say, these are my wishes, you have something that you can show people, at least so your partner, your family knows some of your wishes, where things go. But go through the process of a will, have the communication together, do it now, not wait until you're in the position you have to have it. Do it while you can have an honest conversation, and it might take multiple conversations. and make sure you're sharing that information, right? And you're physically sharing, walking over to show where the circuit breaker is, walking through the document of the bills, walking through your desires when you decide or when your time comes and you move on. Make sure that you have that now. Don't wait.
Yes, and we'd love to hear if there's anything else you want to add, things that we may not have touched on today. And then also, different families have different situations. There could be couples that have their own individual finances, and so how do you plan for that? Do you guys take that into account? So we'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments, and we look forward to connecting with you guys again. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for upcoming videos.
Yeah, see you next time.
Take care.